Well, for more on Volkswagen's earnings, we are joined by Lauren Fix, the car coach, who authored 3 automotive books. She joins us from Lancaster, New York. Thank you for joining us tonight. The scandal at Volkswagen has hit its third quarter earnings pretty hard. The results included a $7.3 billion write-down to cover costs related to the scandal. But that doesn't include legal costs, does it?
No, it doesn't. And one of the other things with totaling for this quarter with a $1.83 billion loss, that's worldwide, that's a huge impact on them when they have other influences that are also hurting their overall sales.
So just talking about some of the penalties they might face, though, do you think the Environmental Protection Agency will slap VW with an $18 billion fine, which would be the maximum allowable? Do you think that they'll get that fine for installing the software?
Well, we still have to finish the investigation, but it's entirely possible they could hit them with an $18 billion fine. That would be a record, probably more so than we've even seen with the GM ignition switches, where you had 124 deaths. There are no deaths equated to the VW diesel scandal, so they may have some recourse. In addition, they have to keep in mind how many jobs are going to be impacted. So I think overall, VW is not going to go out of business, but you've got Chattanooga, Tennessee has a plant. And then when you're looking at worldwide, they have a plant even in China. And so all this has to be considered when you go to hit a company as a penalty. How far do you go and how far is too far?
And in terms of the different bodies that are going after VW, both in Europe and here in the U.S., which do you think is the one that's most threatening to VW in terms of fines?
Well, I think the big threat is going to be the lawsuits combined with the penalties. Of course, in Europe, each country is doing its own investigation. So if Germany has an investigation in France and Spain and Italy, amongst other countries, it could be very painful in the long haul. And that we don't know, but it won't happen all at once, which is good. But I don't believe it's going to put them out of business, because the biggest impact would be to Germany, because they hire more people there than any other employer in all of the country.
And of course, VW has a lot of cash on hand, so you think that they can withstand the penalties that they'll see down the line? I mean, how bad will it be for them?
Well, I think it will be bad. I mean, they had over $8 billion in sales, so I think it's going to be a very painful hit, and you won't see them come back to be the #1 automaker right away. And at the Tokyo Auto Show today, there was a huge, we call it a scrum, which is all of us journalists asking questions. And they said a lot of the questions were, are you going to be #1 again? And they said sales are not our #1 priority right now. It's regaining the trust of the consumer. If they can do that, not just in their gasoline-powered vehicles, but in their diesel vehicles, which are half of what the European sales, that will help them regain some of their confidence back, and it will increase their sales in the long haul. It's just going to be a very long haul.
Now, you mentioned there have been no deaths because of this scandal, but what can some of the people who basically bought cars that they thought were a lot more eco-friendly than they are, what kind of compensation should they expect to get?
Well, the thing is, these class action lawsuits, which typically happens, whether it was an ignition switch, that was a different situation, but typically what happens by the time they take all the legal fees out and everything, you don't end up with very much. What most likely will happen is, if you're unhappy with your vehicle, the dealers will most likely purchase your car back. The thing is, they'll fix them and they'll sell them, so that will be okay for the dealer, because they'll either get you into a new vehicle. They're not going to write you a check for what you paid for it. The other thing that's interesting is, when you're looking at the resale of these cars, any potential lost resale would also be part of that class action lawsuit that would impact consumers. But right now, if you're looking to purchase a diesel vehicle here in the U.S., you can't find them. They're not for sale. Not because the dealer's not selling them, as people that have them aren't interested in selling them because they love the vehicle so much.
That's really interesting that you say that. So are we seeing an impact, though, on demand for the diesel vehicles for Volkswagen right now? I mean, we saw that sales revenue at Volkswagen rose more than 5%, but any impact on demand for their cars?
Well, a quarter of the sales here in the U.S. are from VW are diesel. So the demand for their vehicles, they can't even sell the vehicles right now. Right now, they're just on hold. So there's compensation coming from VW AG in Europe. They're giving money to the dealers to sort of compensate for the fact that they can't sell cars they have sitting on their lots. So the demand for diesel is obviously up in other manufacturers. It's not impacting Mercedes. It's not impacting Audi. It's not impacting Porsche. And I actually purchased a Porsche diesel just the other day, to be right up front with you. So I do love the vehicles. People that own diesel truly love them. And I don't think that's going to stop people like myself from buying them because of the distance between Phillips and the great fuel economy.
Okay, last question. New CEO Matthias Müller has vowed to regain the trust of investors and consumers. What does he need to do to achieve that?
Well, I think this is going to be a lot of work on their part. In order for VW to regain the trust in consumers, they're going to have to produce product that meets what they say. They're going to have equal fuel economy, and they're also going to have the same performance. Can that be done? I don't know, but they're also going to offer a lot of electric vehicles, which they offer in Europe. They're going to bring those here to the U.S. because they know that if people aren't buying diesel and they bought them for their green benefits, they'll then switch to electric and hybrid. So they're going to start bringing that in to show that they really do care about not just the environment, but about their customers and what they want.
All right. It'll also be interesting to see if they can once again surpass Toyota down the lane in terms of sales. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. It was great having you on the show. That was Lauren Fix, the car coach.